Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about writing a function rule. Simply put, that's creating the equation from what we observe. So, if we wanted to, we could easily turn this function rule into our little mapping diagram with inputs and outputs. I'm just going to call them X and Y. And what that says is the output is 5 less than the input. So if I said 0, then y would have to be negative 5 because that's 5 less than my input. I could also choose 1 and put negative 4 because negative 4 is 5 less than 1. I could do 2, and I could go on for all of eternity writing numbers in this pattern, and I would be correct. The thing is, we don't really want to do that because we don't know what our numbers actually are. While I could fill in x and y values, in other words, inputs and outputs, I want an equation that once I find the out or the input I want to give, I can then find out its output. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to break this down. So we're going to look at the words, and I'm going to substitute y in for the output, right? So that's where we're starting. So we got y. Then we have our infamous word is. That's our equal sign. All right? Then we're going to take this phrase, 5 less than. 5 less than. Now, what you may not know is the phrase less than is not always this. It's not always an inequality. In this case, it's actually not going to. See, if it said is less than, then it would be an inequality. So I believe I'm still on the page. So this is the same thing, is less than. The problem here is I have this word 5 in between right here. So that means that 5 is no longer meaning an inequality, it's meaning subtraction. See, where or what our phrase is, even by one word, really matters. So is 5 less than means equals to minus 5. And then lastly, what we have here is we have the input. Well, remember, that's x. So here are the 4 items that we have translated everything to. And I've tried to color coordinate so you can go back and look how they match. And I've gone through and explained why this is not an inequality symbol is because the word 5 is between the word is and less. And the last thing is the input. Now I got to figure out how in the world to put these together. Well, this word right here is a magical word that actually tells us to flip what's on our left with what is on our right. So I'm not there yet. I just want to keep that in mind. So y, because that comes first, y equals. Now, those of you who translate, the idea of flipping the order of what's being said should make sense to you because you're already having to do that, especially in languages like Spanish and French that have a different origin than English. Um, we don't say the red apple, you would say the apple is red. So you understand the idea that sometimes we flip things, and that's all we're doing. We're translating, in this case, the word than tells us that we're flipping. So what that means is I don't want to write 5 less first, even though I have it listed first and it's first in my sentence. The word than means start here. So I need to go with x, and then I need to write my 5 less. And this is the equation that I end up with. Now this equation tells me whatever I put in for x, subtract 5 to get my y. So this is, again, my input is x. So no matter what number I choose here, could choose 5, and I'd have 5 minus 5 is y. and that's going to fit this description. It would also fit within our mapping diagram. So this would take all of eternity to fill out, or we could translate it to an equation that no matter what the number is, we've got the right thing. So let's do it one more time down below. Write a function rule for the output is, so the output again is going to be my orange. The output, y, is our magic word meaning equal, is the square of the input. All right. Since there's no separation, there's no less than, there's no equal to, there's none of that, all of this belongs together. And what I got to remember is, what does the phrase the square of mean? Well, I know input is x. So what I could do is, again, look at this separately and just try to remember what this is. Well, the square of is that pesky exponent of 2. So really what I'm looking for is 2. It's just hard to write it because as soon as I write the 2 here, I lose track of it. So what I really want to do is write it on my input. That's why I underlined the whole thing. This is one phrase I got to get used to saying or hearing. So when I do that, my equation is just going to be y equals x and squared, or the square of x. And now I'm done. What this tells me is, as soon as I pick any value for x, I can plug it in here, solve it, and find my value for y. So I don't have to actually do the mapping diagram to find a number. All I need is an equation, and I'll be able to find the number no matter what. So if you have any questions, make sure to email those to me so I can work on getting them into the next day's lesson. Stay safe out there, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.